Good evening, everyone. It's been a week since I last posted. I hope everyone is doing good. I want to get some thoughts out there in line with what we've been going through from last week's Parsha, and it speaks directly into one of the scriptures that I've presented quite often, with where Jesus, from the Christian perspective, talks about him being the new mediator that gets to God the Father, where he says in John 14, verse 6, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. So in this video, I just want to talk about the two differences, if we can call it the differences between Judaism and Christianity, and how it's just presented and how many witnesses received it at one time. Just remember what the channel's about. It's building a strong Israel and a Jewish people. So just remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And any questions that you might have, put it in the comments, and then I can deal with them there. Or if it's something that I feel I'll do a whole video on, if it's something that will go into depth, or I feel I need to go into depth with. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into it. So I'm going to start. Just there's two questions that we're going to try and answer, or we're going to answer in this session. It's going to be, the first one is, who was at Mount Sinai? Okay, and then the second one, who was the witnesses for the new religion that was presented, in this case, Christianity. Okay, let's start. So the first one that I'm going to deal with or read, it's found in Exodus 19, and it's verse 9. So just to give a summary and background, this is the Jewish people were in Egypt. There's the 10 plagues. They make it out of Egypt and they make it to Mount Sinai. At Mount Sinai, this is where this takes place. All right. So Exodus 19, it says, verse 9, and God said to Moses, I will come to you in a thick cloud, in order that the people may hear when I speak with you, and so trust you ever after. Then Moses reported the people's words to God. Okay. We'll just cover that. Those people's words to God. Moses actually went to the people and he actually asked them a question. He says, all the people answered in one saying, all that God has spoken, we will do. And Moses brought back the people's words to God. So that's what that reference was there for. Okay. So what I want to focus on is when God just said to Moses, he went up to meet him, and then God says, I will come to you in the thick cloud, in order that the people may hear when I speak with you, and so trust you forever. Okay, so he's speaking to Moses. Okay, who are the people? So the people are the Jews, the Jewish nation, or those that left Egypt. It wasn't the whole the Jewish nation, but those that chose to leave. Okay, in Scripture it tells us there's over 600,000, and then just the men, and if you bring in the women and children, that number is more. Okay, so those are the people there. I just want to reference just in Exodus 20 as well, and 15, just to back this up as well. This is now the people, at the bottom of Mount Sinai, and it says, all the people witnessed the thunder and the lightning, the blare of the horn, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they fell back and stood at a distance. All right. Then they said, you speak to us, they said to Moses, and we will obey, but not let God speak to us. Okay, that's another teaching as well. But what we want to do is just focus on that section there. Okay, let's just move this up. You speak to us. Right. Okay, you speak to us. Sorry, let's just correct that. He says, you speak to us. This is Exodus 20, verse 15. It says, you speak to us. They said to Moses, and we will obey you, but let not God speak to us, lest we die. So, 15 is this one. This one, that's the one that I want to focus on. All the people witnessed the thunder and the lightning and the blare of the horn and the mountain smoking. When the people saw it, they fell back and they stood at a distance. Okay, so just get this picture in your mind. You've got a whole nation, people standing at the base of Mount Sinai, and they witnessing this to actually receive the instructions from God, or the 10 commandments, or the tablets from God. But this is where he spoke to them as a nation. All right. So the whole nation experienced coming out of Egypt with the 10 plagues. The whole nation experienced the parting of the Red Sea. The whole nation experienced the Egyptian army that was drowned, that was chasing them. And the whole nation experienced receiving of the Torah, of the 10 commandments, or the 10 commandments, not the Torah, the 10 commandments at Mount Sinai. The whole nation experienced God speaking to them, all right? And the whole nation witnessed the cloud that was on the mountain as well. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I just want to reference this where we actually go into the New King James. So that we can see 19 verse 9. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, I come to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. Okay, so what are we focusing on? God is actually saying he's going to come in a thick cloud that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. Who's the you? It's Moses. But everyone, the people may hear. Okay, again, it's a whole bunch of people. It's multiple thousands, hundreds of thousands of witnesses all at once. Okay, what is very interesting, yeah, but I don't want to focus too much on it. In the New King James, just remember the writing of the Bible did change from the Hebrew writings as well, but you can see in Exodus 15, Exodus 20:15, it actually says 20 verse 15 is you shall not steal, but it's actually 18 and 19, as opposed to if you go to the Chumash, the Hebrew Bible, it's actually Exodus 15. Okay, but they've moved it around a bit. So as soon as you see this now, remember, you can actually start questioning how much else has been changed or manipulated for the New Testament to actually work. All right, but I don't want to focus on that now, because there's other areas that I've found and come to light as I've read through the Hebrew Bible now, and because I've been through, let's call it the Christian Bible, so many times and studied it, a whole bunch of scriptures has been highlighted, remembered, and I think check them out, and the actual wording has been changed, and even the meaning has changed with what's been quoted. But I'll make another video on that as that develops as well. Okay, so what did it say? Exodus 20:15 in the Hebrew Bible, but in Exodus 20:18 it says here, now all the people witnessed the thundering, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar. Then they said to Moses, you speak to us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. Okay. So, remember what I just want to focus on this one? It's how many was experiencing this. How many people will experience it? All right. How many? Who was at Mount Sinai? Remember, that's the first question. Who was at Mount Sinai? Okay. Who received the Ten Commandments? How many of the nation were there? How did they get there as well? Okay. Who was at Mount Sinai? Who witnessed the speaking of God? And who did they accept then as their spiritual leader after that, or the one that was speaking with God? Okay. Now, let's relate it to the Christian side. Okay. Let's go to John 14, verse 6. What I want to do is just go one verse up. All right. So this is the Gospel of John. So he's writing it. We don't know how many was in the circle when this was said, but let's just say, well, we can't even speculate, but I'm just going to read it as it actually stands there. Did Thomas tell John, or when they actually wrote this? But let's just read it as it stands then, just as we read Exodus as it stands. Okay. Then Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going, and how can we know the way? All right. Obviously, Jesus alluding to what we now know is the cross and the crucifixion. But then in this, was he actually talking where he's going afterwards? But yes. And let's just break it down just a little bit. It says, okay, Jesus then said to him, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. Okay, so now he's speaking to, let's call it just, we know definitely Thomas. Don't know how many other people. And he's now speaking. He's just made this huge statement. No one's confirmed. God the Father didn't say he's going to confirm it. If we go back to Exodus 9, what did it say? And God said to Moses, okay, I will come to you in the thick of a cloud in order that the people may hear when I speak with you, and so trust you forever after. Okay, trust you ever after. Then Moses reported the people's word to him. Okay, what did he say here? And all the people witnessed the thunder and the lightning and the blare of the horn and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they fell back and stood at a distance. Okay, yeah, we've got Jesus. This is, just remember, this is even before the cross, before the crucifixion. Okay, the crucifixion was definitely witnessed by people that were in Jerusalem. The Jews were there as well. Okay, they were witnessing it. Now remember, they are a nation that came out of Egypt. They came out of Egypt. They got the words, these words, written in the Torah then as well. Okay, came out of Egypt. You got the whole Jewish history. They practiced, built the temple, all of this. The second temple was built. Jesus comes on the scene, makes that statement, goes to the cross. But nowhere was a bold statement like this made. Okay? Where God himself says, I will come to you in a thick cloud in order that the people may hear when I speak with you and so trust you ever after. Then Moses reported that to the people. Okay? That's what God said. And then he even confirms it in Exodus 20. He says, all the people witnessed the thunder and the lightning, the blare of the horn, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they fell back and stood at a distance. They even said, then you speak to us. You speak to us, they said to Moses, and we will obey. But let not God speak to us, lest we die. Moses answered the people, be not afraid, for God has come only in order to test you, in order that the fear of God may be ever with you, so that you do not go astray. So, John 14, verse 6, here's Jesus before the cross. He makes this statement. There's no confirmation even. It's to a small circle, and maybe even to who knows how many were in there, but we know definitely Thomas was there. Okay? And then move over to crucifixion at the cross. It happens, yes, in Jerusalem. Jewish people are there, but there's no confirmation. There's one alluding where it actually says that Jesus turns around and says to God, why did you forsake me? And God says to him, it says, God answers him. But it wasn't this loud voice that came out and spoke to all the people that everyone could hear, okay, as it did at Mount Sinai, because it says all the people heard, but it thundered. There is said that the whole world heard when God spoke. Okay, so the whole world knew something that was happening. Okay, so this is food for thought. Who was there? Who witnessed it? Okay, then I want to just put something else in there. Get you to think. Let's all think together. Okay? We know now that those that witnessed at Mount Sinai was the whole Jewish people. Okay? Then, if we go to Christianity, Jesus is crucified in Jerusalem. Then he's resurrected. Okay? There's one witness that they go and look for Jesus in the third day. He's resurrected. There's one witness. And then he's not in the tomb anymore. And then he starts appearing to his disciples. Okay, only the disciples. And then it goes on to say there's bits and pieces of people that he actually appears to again. But it's not like it was at Mount Sinai, where there was multiple. witnesses. Okay? And it's, yes, the Jewish, there's his disciples that he's actually ministering to. All right? But then what actually happens? The temple gets destroyed, totally destroyed and buried. Everything then moves to Rome. And that's where they start this religion, based on the writings of the disciples, which are Jewish. But now, picture this. It's the Roman Empire, which is a Gentile nation. It's not a Jewish nation, it's a Gentile nation that is now presenting a religion to the world that they rule. And it's based on the Jewish writings, the Jewish scriptures. So it's not the Jewish nation and people that are pushing it forward. As if you look at the prophecies, the Messiah will be pushing it forward from a Jewish perspective. But this is a Gentile nation, so you should start being thinking about this now. Okay? Who's pushing it forward? Right. Okay? Then the Jews in this new empire had to stop being Jews and accept this man-God human sacrifice being Jesus Christ on the cross as forgiveness for sin. They have to throw away what they knew about Judaism, because there's a new covenant, there's new laws that they have to now start practicing. Okay? So, alarm bells should be going off in your mind to actually saying, wait a minute, this is not the Jewish nation that is presenting this religion. It's a Gentile nation that is then taking this newfound revelation or religion based on Jewish characters and Jewish writings and presenting a new religion. Okay, so beautiful thought. I just want to make the statement that no doubt, the whole world can actually see, and the Jewish nation, the Jewish people can actually see that Christianity was used to get the revelation of the Jewish nation across the world and the Hebrew Bible, because Christianity was built on Judaism. And in the Christian Bible, the Old Testament is the Hebrew Bible. Okay, so that was kept through time. So it was there for everyone to read, for everyone to get insights into who the Jewish people were and are. Okay, so God definitely used that as a mechanism to get the revelation that was given to the Jewish people to the rest of the world. Okay, so we can't understand God's ways, but we can see the results of them. So no doubt Christianity was used. No doubt. Okay, so just wanted to leave this with food for thought. Remember, how many witnessed the giving of the Torah? How many witnessed this new religion that was presented by Jesus, which was a Jew? He was a Jew. Okay, and who was the nation that took it forward? And who was the nation that kept it going? It wasn't the Jewish nation. It wasn't Jews. So ask the question that if it was a Jewish revelation, even those, if it started small, it should have grown over time of how many Jewish people would have then taken on this new or that revelation and run with it. But if it wasn't for the Gentile nations to take it and to force it on the rest of the world, and even to force it onto the Jewish people to convert to Christianity, just go through history about the spreading of Christianity in Europe and around the world. Okay, so food for thought. Thought I'd leave that with you. Thanks for being here. And just remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good evening.